Hello everybody, my name's Aaron, and welcome back to How to Be a Wings of Duty Ace. Knowing Your Planes, Part 2. In Part 1, I went over the Japanese and American planes, showing how they work and the best way to approach them. Now, we look at Germany and Britain, starting off with Britain. First things first is the Hurricane Mark 1. Now, this is a beginner plane. Now, you may be wondering, well, it's probably a noob plane then, right? No, this thing's pretty powerful. I've had multiple occasions where I've taken down 109Es and even 109F series airplanes. It's not that hard to do, and if you guys saw in my BF-110 review, you guys know that a skilled enough Hurricane pilot can take down a 110, or even a Heinkel 111, or a Heinkel 111. So, the Hurricane is not a plane to be messed around with. Of course, it doesn't have the best turning capability, unlike, the P-35, but it still can carry a mean payload of 830 cals. Yep. And no, there are no upgrades or engine upgrades. Now, the Spitfire is pretty much the Hawker Hurricane, only you have to pay 1,000 gold for it. Now, honestly, the only reason I would see people actually getting this is for, to get, Spitfire Mark II or Mark V. But yeah, the only thing is that you can equip, a Merlin X engine. And that's pretty much it. Everything else stays the same. This thing has slightly better turning capability and it's a bit more speed, of course. But all in all, when you compare it to the Hurricane, it's pretty similar. Next up, however, things get a little bit different. Meet the Spitfire Mark II. Now, yeah, you could go with the standard 30 caliber MGs. Or you could equip 220 mils with those MGs, with 120 rounds. I'm starting to get a pattern here. Almost every plane in this game, whenever you can equip 220mm cannons on it, always has, up to 120 rounds. Like the 109E series, the A6M, and the Spitfire. It's kind of okay. But, this thing is a bit more faster, has more dogfighting capabilities, and other than being able to equip 20 mils, not much else. Very good fighter. Obviously it's very good for hunting down 109s. It's also a very good bomber hunter, of course, with its added 20 mils. Next up is Spitfire Mark V. Now, I don't have the Spitfire Mark V, mainly because it's pretty much the same thing, only this time you equip bombs, and there's a skin for it. But, I've kind of slowed down my skin collecting spree, so yeah. But yeah, Spitfire Mark V. Though I haven't played it, I can only imagine that it can improve on, the maneuverability and speed and all that, and general handling from the Spitfire Mark II. Now, this thing, obviously, right off the bat can equip 20 mils, or it can equip up to one 500-pound bomb. So, yeah, like I said before, I can only imagine it improves on the Spitfire Mark II in maneuverability and speed. Next up is HP-52 Hampton. The HP-52 Hampton. This thing is more or less a torpedo bomber. Now, yes, you could go on bombing runs in it, and in fact, there are times the bombing scope could actually be pretty good. However, it's not really a high-altitude bomber. In fact, it's more or less just a torpedo bomber. So if you're gonna go on bombing runs, you have to go on medium to low altitude, which is bad because you're gonna be picking up a lot of flak, and enemy fighters could, just easily climb up to you and destroy you. HP-52 Hampton features two 30 caliber guns on top and two 30 caliber guns on bottom, both with a very effective range, only blind spots being in the front, of course, and one 30 caliber gun in the nose. The pilot can use, though I don't know why a pilot would be dogfighting in this thing. It can equip up to 12 100-pound bombs, 6 250-pound bombs, 3 500-pound bombs, or the Mark 13 torpedo. I will be going over a how-to plane episode over this later, but yeah. And that's pretty much to the Brits. I feel like they're gonna be soon fleshing out the British faction, like adding in the Butte fighter and all that, because there's definitely, come on, there's a lot more in the RAF than this, and that's a fact. Well, let's go over the Germany. So, let's go over the bomber side first. The Ju-87 Stuka. This will be your beginner plane for Germany. This is a dive bomber, and during the early to medium stages of World War II, this thing was scary. Usually because of its ever so famous Jericho horns, which would go off when they were diving, basically striking fear in the enemy. The Ju-87 actually does have a Jericho horn in the game that you can actually use, and I feel like that's actually quite a cool feature that, Wings of Duty added. So your first payload when you begin is 4 50-kilogram bombs and 1 250-pound bomb. Or no, 250-kilo bomb. Not bad, not bad. Upgraded a bit, you can get 2 100-kilogram bombs. You still keep the 250-kilogram bomb, though. And then you basically keep the 2 100-kilo bombs, but 1 400-kilogram bomb. Now, you can see that this thing has a bigger payload than the Dauntless. However, the Dauntless is a lot better at dive bombing, with its added ability to basically, just watch my how to dive bomb with the Dauntless properly video, and you'll see how I did it. Moving on, we've got the Bf-110. The Bf-110 is a quote-unquote heavy fighter. Now, this was a multi-purpose plane. It can be used as a dive bomber. It can be used to, it can be used for, anti-tank runs and, bomber hunting. And it definitely does show it in its payload. The first thing you'll notice is, its payload will consist of 4 7.92mm MG-17s in the nose, 2 20mm MG FFM cannons with 180 rounds in each gun, and then 1 7.92 MG-15 in the rear. And yeah, that's basically its beginner loadout. Now it basically keeps the same payload except for number 1. It has 2 7.92mm MGs in the back, and 2 37mm pt3 cannons. Now, this is the ground pounding and bomber hunting part of the plane. Because this thing is a beast at hunting down bombers. If you guys saw my Bf-110 review, you'll know, however, that this thing isn't the best fighter. In fact, if you guys saw the Bf-110 review, you'll see that I died by a hurricane. Though he was probably a skilled pilot. But still, that just goes to show you how, the Bf-110 isn't the most fighter capable. Sure, it could probably outlast a Spitfire for a few minutes, but in the end, it'll eventually get hit by the Spitfire and eventually go down, unless someone saves it. Now, the next payload is pretty simple. Though you don't get your 37 mils, you still keep your 2 7.92 millimeter MGs, and then you equip 2 250-kilogram bombs, aka 1,000-pound bombs in total. Now, the Ju-87 has a far bigger payload than this, but that's because the Ju-87 is a dedicated dive bomber. It focuses on dive bombing, rather than a Bf-110, which focuses more on just being a multi-purpose airplane, It could be used as a patrol airplane, a bomber hunter, a dive bomber, you name it. So yeah. And then next thing is the Big Daddy Heinkel 111. I think this one has the new most amount of guns in the game, featuring 2 side guns, or 2 7.92mm side guns, one 13mm MG up top, another 13mm down bottom, and then another 7.92mm MG in the nose. Now the thing is that you can only play as a nose gun, top gun, and bottom gun. The side guns are unplayable. Though I don't really know why the reason was behind that. I mean, hey, at least you get to control the 13mm MGs. So, yay. Now, the Heinkel 111 was a pretty advanced medium bomber during World War II. Now, over time, kind of like the Ju-87, it eventually started becoming more and more obsolete, and, pilots knew exactly what to do when facing a Heinkel. So, it ended up, just becoming obsolete. Now, these things in Wings of Duty, it kind of emulates how they were in real life. When they first came into play in Wings of Duty, it was intimidating. Like, seeing these things on the battlefield, it was scary. But over time, when Wings of Duty players knew just what to do, it kind of started becoming more and more obsolete, and, just aim for the engines, cut out its engines, and it'll go down. That's pretty much it. Just damage the engines, it'll go down. And so far, it's been quite the working strategy. I've had it many times in my Spitfire Mark II, where I was hunting down a Heinkel, and I killed it easily because I aimed for the engines. Not only that, but obviously this thing has its weak spots, so, damaging this thing wouldn't be all too hard. Now, the real intimidating thing about this thing nowadays is kind of like with the B-26, seeing these things in formation. Seeing a Heinkel formation is probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. Trust me. And there were times where I've seen one. In fact, I think there was one time where I was part of, a stream. Or not a stream, but I remember there was one time where me and my other buddies were doing a Heinkel formation. And I remember my flaps ended up being torn out. And then I just went down. I landed, but both of my flaps were torn out. And I ended up crashing down. So even in a Heinkel formation, you could still get your butt kicked by a single Spitfire Mark V who knows what he's doing. And it's all about the skill, not about the plane, so yeah. Anyways, enough of my jibber jabber, and let's talk about the payload. This thing can carry up to 32 50-kilogram bombs. Yes, 32 50-kilogram bombs. That's 32 100-pound bombs. Next thing, you can equip up to 20 100-kilogram bombs. Then you can carry up to 8 250-kilogram bombs. And then, next thing you know, you can carry up to 4 400-kilogram bombs. And let me get this straight, okay? Because a 400-kilogram bomb translates to 800 pounds, or roughly 800 pounds. So having 4 of these things on a Heinkel is devastating. And this was one of the intimidating factors of the Heinkel. Just seeing it with its immense payload would kind of just make people scared, but obviously, nowadays you can pop these things easily just with enough skill. And then you can equip 2 anti-ship torpedoes. Both very powerful. They're pretty much Mark 13 torpedoes. Look at them. Okay, the modeling is pretty similar. It's 2 Mark 13 torpedoes. Way to go, Heinkel. In fact, the Heinkel is the only plane so far in the game to carry 2 torpedoes. So, yeah. And that's pretty much all of its payload. So now let's go over to the 109 skill tree. Ah yes, the good old 109s. Now where Spitfires focus more on maneuverability, and all-around handling, 109s focus more on speed and agility. Kind of seeing a pattern here, aren't we? Now, the 109E series is obviously more faster than the Spitfire, but, I mean, it would take a bit more skill to take down a Spitfire in this thing than it usually would be the other way around. Now, the 109E series is obviously a beginner plane, and it can carry quite the payload. And when I say quite the payload, it's kind of like, not too shabby, I guess. Right off the bat, you can have 4 7.9mm MG-17 machine guns, pretty straightforward. Then you can equip 20 mils on it. That's pretty much it. And it's pretty standard. It has the same amount of ammo, 120 bullets, and it's pretty much similar to the A6M, except for the A6M can carry bombs. Now, again, like I said, this thing can be a really good combatant up against a 109 or up against a Spitfire, but it's gonna take a lot more skill with this thing to like take down a Spitfire because, like I said before, Spitfires focus more on handling and maneuverability rather than speed. So in a way, you're kind of gonna have to go on a head-on-head and just kind of damage its aileron there, and then from that, and then like just from there, you gotta just outturn it. So yeah, also this is just a skin that I've gotten. If you want to see the default skin, this is it. Classic 109. Let's move on to the 109F series. Yet again, another camo. Oh. Whoopsie. But yes, the 109F series. Where to begin with this thing? The 109F features, it's kind of, yeah, it's basically a downgrade. Okay, that I can't even sugarcoat it. It's a downgrade from the 109E. Because you can equip 2 7.9mm MGs, but you only have one 15mm MG 151 cannon. Now that may be good and all, but then you can equip this 20mm cannon, but it's only one 20mm cannon. And when you look at the 109E series, I think it equipped two 20mm cannons. Now, I don't know if this thing just has more ammunition in it, or if it's just the same amount. But other than that, yeah, it's a lot more faster than the 109E series, and it has a bit more handling on it. But overall, in terms of armament, this thing's a downgrade. And next thing, we go up to the ever so glorious, ever so elegant 109G. Oh, but here, let me get to the, there we go. Oh, yeah. No. There we go, finally. So, its standard payload consists of one 20mm MG151 cannon and two 13mm MGs. Pretty basic, right? But now basically take that same payload except for add two more 20mm pod cannons. Yes, sirree, this thing is kind of like a better bomber hunter, I would say. But still, I kind of prefer the 110 over it in terms of bomber hunting. But yeah. And so, you can equip these 20mm pods. And kind of like with the Spitfire Mark V, you're going to equip these bombs. So, it can equip 4 50-kilogram bombs. Or, one 250-kilogram bomb. Oh yeah, and that's also some of my skins that I've gotten. The Russia skin. Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much, knowing all of your planes. So you'll be set out in Wings of Duty. Now, a few more things before I go off with the 109G. Now, the 109G isn't the most maneuverable, okay? It requires a lot of speed, and this thing can gain a ton of speed. The only thing is, though, is that when you combat it up against the Spitfire Mark V, if the Spitfire Mark V at least knows a basic knowledge of what he's doing, he could probably outsmart and kill 109G in its Spitfire Mark V. And the reason is, well, I've already explained it. Spitfires focus on maneuverability, while 109s focus more on speed. So yeah. And, speed isn't key for everything. Anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later for more Wings of Doom.